Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from any part of the world where you may be joining us from. You are welcome to another episode of How Not to Do First Aid. This is a free first aid course from L Educate. Welcome back. In today's lesson, we shall be looking at how to assess an unconscious person. What you are expected to do immediately when you witness an individual going unconscious. Secondly, we'll be looking at how to move an unconscious person in a way that will not cause additional injury or further complicating the damages or the injuries suffered by the victim. And lastly, we'll be looking at how to place an unconscious person in a recovery position. How to place an unconscious person in a position that will not cause further harm or injury to the victim. How do you then carry out an initial assessment? An initial assessment is that very quick assessment of the victim or the individual who suddenly loses consciousness or who suddenly slumps, right? Now, an easy way to remember what to do is by considering this acronym, Dr. ABC, DRABC, where D stands for danger, R stands for response, A stands for airway, B stands for breathing, and C stands for circulation. Again, remember, Dr. A, B, C. The first thing you must do if you witness somebody going down unconscious is that you must make sure that the scene is safe. We cannot emphasize this enough, because if you become a second victim, you will not be able to render any form of first aid to the person you are trying to help. So ensure that the scene is safe before approaching the victim. Then you want to check for responsiveness. This person may just be sleeping, and by tapping on the shoulder, the person wakes up and says, "Oh, what happened? Why are you beating me?" Now you need to check for response. Tap the shoulders and shout, "Are you okay?" If you know the name of the person, scream the name of that person. "Hello, hello, are you okay? Are you okay?" Right? If this person is not responding, you want to check if the person is breathing. And how do you do that? The best way to ascertain that somebody is breathing is to look at the chest or the abdomen. Is there any visible chest movements or visible abdominal movements? If you can see this, then you can be sure that this person is breathing. If this person is not breathing, you want to check the airway. Oh, is something blocking the airway that is preventing this person from breathing? If you can see it, you want to remove it. If you cannot, then you want to go to the next step, which is, if you are certain that this person is breathing, but for all the effort you make in arousing the person by tapping on the shoulder and screaming the person's name or shouting the person's, shouting at the person if the person is okay or not, and the person is not responding, and you also are sure that there is no, serious injury, all right, you want to place this person in the recovery position. A recovery position is that position that will ensure that the victim, although is not conscious, does not come to further harm. And what further harm can an unconscious person come to? If an unconscious person is lying on his back, the muscles of the tongue could relax and fall back, thereby blocking the throat, blocking the airway, this person may likely choke to death if such an obstruction is not removed immediately. So by placing a victim in a recovery position, you prevent such an occurrence from happening. Secondly, if an unconscious person vomits, it is possible that an individual is unconscious and the person throws up. If this person is lying on his back, the vomiters, the content of the vomiting could actually get into the airway and choke this person to death. So by placing this individual in recovery position, you avert these two very dangerous scenarios from happening and thereby saving this person's life. Putting an individual in the recovery position, an unconscious person in recovery position, might just be the best thing you will do for that person to save the person's life. In the next video, we'll be looking at how to place an unconscious person who is breathing in a recovery position. You're welcome back. Having demonstrated how to put a patient in recovery position, in the next series of videos, we will be looking at how to move an injured person away from an unsafe situation. It will depend on whether you are alone or you have help around to move the patient. What is crucial is that when an accident happens, injuries of various kinds may have taken place. We do not know, right? A victim may have had an injury to the neck or back. And remember, the bones of the neck and that protects a very delicate organ that we call the spinal cord. During an accident, an injury may have happened to the spinal cord, a partial spinal cord injury. If this victim is moved in such a way that is not carefully done, an incomplete injury may be converted to a total spinal cord injury, which could cause complete paralysis of both legs. And if the injury happens near the neck or the neck region, it could actually result in a total paralysis from neck down. The individual will not be able to use both arms, will not be able to use both legs, will not be able to control defecation, will not be able to control urination. So it's like rendering this person a vegetable. That is why for every emergency situation, the carrying a victim is the most delicate aspect of first aid, especially when it comes to traumatic accidents like road traffic accidents or fall from heights. So we want to be extremely careful in moving that person so that we will not convert a partial spinal cord injury to a total injury and condemn this person to a lifetime of dependence. So if you are alone and you want to move this person to a safer ground, all you need to do is to go to near the head of the person, kneel down, grab the shirts or whatever the person is wearing on both shoulders and pull it will be demonstrated in the video. However, if there are people around to lift this person, you need at least 4 persons to lift an injured individual, and at most 5, because you need to support the head and neck, you need to support the upper chest, you need to support the middle and lower back, you need to support the pelvis, as well as support the legs. You need to move this person as one unit and lift this person as one unit. It will be demonstrated in the videos that will follow this particular lesson. Thank you.